Wealthy folks are earning a ton of money through methods that most others don't even know about. If you wait out until the end, you'll actually gain a better understanding of money from this video than you would from an MBA class out there. Here, we've listed 12 investments that rich individuals make, which most people aren't familiar with. Welcome to Top-Tier Success, your ultimate destination for business, investing, and self-development. Our mission is to guide you towards financial freedom and living life on your own terms. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out on valuable insights that could truly transform your life. Number 1. Collectibles. Collecting rare things like books, comics, toys, stamps, coins, and even sneakers can also make money. People pay a lot for these special items. For example, a rare Pokemon card sold for over $5 million. A Superman comic book sold for $5.3 million. Even sneakers worn by Michael Jordan sold for $2.2 million. But be careful, if people stop wanting these things, they won't be worth as much. Number 2. Art. You know those expensive paintings and sculptures you've heard about? Well, they're not just decorations for rich people's homes. They're investments. Imagine buying a famous artwork and then selling it later for way more money. That's what rich people do. Even when other markets are losing money, rich collectors often spend even more on art. The secret is that art can make you a lot of money. Last year, rich art collectors spent double on art, even though other markets were down. The art market could grow by $1 trillion by 2026. And here's a cool thing. You don't need to be a billionaire to invest in art. Companies like Masterworks let regular folks like you buy a piece of a painting. When the art sells later, you get a share of the profit. Number 3. Luxury watches and purses. Rich people love collecting watches and fancy bags. Have you seen those super expensive handbags and watches? They buy products that lots of people want but are hard to find. You can't just walk into a store and buy them. You have to be on a special list and wait for them. Sometimes, this can take years. The stores are mostly just for looking at these items. If you're lucky enough to buy a luxury bag or watch, you might pay around $10,000 to $15,000 in the store. But as soon as you leave, you could sell it online for much more, like $30,000 to $40,000. Remember, being rich isn't just about spending money. It's about making smart choices with what you have to make even more money over time. Number 4. Hotel rooms. Guess what? You can actually buy a hotel room and make money from it. Imagine owning a hotel room that you can use whenever you want. And when you're not using it, the hotel rents it out, and you share the money they make. Luxury hotel rooms can cost $1 million or more. But there are cheaper options too, starting at around $30,000. This is something even Trump did with his hotels. He sold rooms to people, and then the hotel made money by renting them out. You can even find hotel rooms for sale online, just like looking for a house. It's a smart way to own a piece of a fancy place and make money from it when you're not there. Number 5. Whiskey and wine. Here's something simple to understand. Getting rich involves selling things for more money than you paid. And staying rich means holding on to things that become more valuable over time. Rich folks are smart about using time to make more money. Let's look at whiskey first. A 2023 bottle of whiskey doesn't cost much, but a 20-year-old bottle is worth a lot. Regular people buy whiskey at the store one bottle at a time. Rich people buy it by the barrel from the place where it's made. You don't even have to keep the barrels yourself. The distillery or other companies can store them for you and sell them when they're worth more. This makes money for the distillery, saves them costs while the whiskey ages, and lowers the risk. Aging whiskey can make you around 10 to 15% more money each year. Now, for wine. Since 1988, good wines have been getting more valuable by about 10 to 11% every year. This is better than many stocks. The S&P 500, a stock market measure, only goes up around 10% per year. Number 6. Private banking. Let's talk about how banks work differently for rich people. You know how regular folks get charged when they put money in, take money out, or just keep it in the bank? Well, that's not how it goes for the wealthy. They have something called private banking. For most of us, putting $10,000 in a regular savings account for a year gets us only about 0.01% in interest. That's about $10 return even on a $100,000 savings in a bank. It's funny, right? While we get a small amount, rich folks get way more from their banks. They can make between 7% and 13% each year on the money they keep in the bank. That's a lot more than the 0.01% we might get. If you have around $250,000 or more, you could qualify for private banking. And, once you're in, you get cool perks like help with special events, access to exclusive things, and big discounts on fancy stuff. Number 7. Making money with businesses. You don't need to start a business to make money from one. Imagine owning a part of a bar or a flower shop. You don't have to run it, just enjoy the profits. It's like being a silent partner. And if you're into startups, you can invest early and watch your money grow if the business succeeds. Billionaires do this a lot. They own parts of businesses, and that's how they make big bucks. Number 8. Hidden treasures, minerals and water. Guess what? There are valuable things hiding underground, like springs of water. You can actually buy the rights to use and sell this special water. A smart entrepreneur named Jean Valves did this and made a lot of money. He found a good spring, got permission to use it, and bottled the water. He sold his water brand to big companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. You can even find out who owns the rights to these hidden treasures in your country. Just search for mineral rights for sale, and you might find a place where people are buying and selling these rights. Number 9. Hedge funds. Hedge funds are like special investment clubs that aim to make lots of money for their members. Remember how private banks offer special deals to rich clients? Well, hedge funds take that to the next level. To get into a good hedge fund, you often need to have at least $1 million or really good connections. These funds try to beat the average market performance, but it's not always easy. They might do really well one year and not so great the next. If you're lucky, you could find a consistent performer like Jim Simon's fund, which makes around 40% on average every few years. Hedge funds are like the superstars of investing, always trying to stay ahead. Number 10. Investing in new places. Ever thought about investing in countries that are just starting to grow? It's like buying stock in a rising star. For example, there's a place called Georgia where you can get a seaside apartment for a really good price. Or you can invest in up-and-coming areas in Africa that are experiencing a tech boom. And guess what? Investing in beautiful spots can pay off big time. Back in 1959, someone bought a property in Australia for a small amount, and now it's worth millions. So, keep an eye out for places that are on the rise. You might just find a golden opportunity. Number 11. Marrying into wealth. You've probably heard stories about rich people marrying someone from a lower income background. But in reality, it's not as common as you might think. People usually end up marrying someone with a similar income or maybe a bit higher. But marrying someone who's thousands of times wealthier is pretty rare. Interestingly, among the wealthy, marrying into even higher wealth happens more often. If you want to marry rich, it's actually more likely if you're already on your way to becoming wealthy yourself. So, becoming financially successful first could increase your chances of marrying into a wealthy family. Number 12. Investing in building space. Here's a cool insider trick that rich investors use. When new buildings are being constructed, developers need money to build them. They go to private investors, like wealthy folks, and offer to sell them a portion of the building space at a special price. They usually sell about 30% of the space this way, which helps them get a loan from the bank for the rest of the project. You might end up owning apartments, studios, or office space, even though you don't know exactly what you'll get at first. But since you're getting it at a special price, you're likely to make a profit when the building is finished. These deals can be a great way to make money, but they often require a minimum investment of around $1 million. You're here because you're curious about new possibilities beyond your current situation. We would love to hear which of these investment ideas piques your interest the most. Or if there's something you'd like to explore further. Drop a comment and let us know. And as a little extra treat for sticking around, here's a secret bonus just for you. Imagine a table where trust is like a currency. The more trust you have, the more valuable you become. So, having the right connections and making the right introductions can be worth a whole lot. In fact, there's a story about someone who got paid a jaw-dropping $2.5 million just to set up a meeting. This meeting turned into a huge investment deal worth hundreds of millions. How? Well, there was this middle person who vouched for both sides, saying, "Hey, you can trust them." That's the power of reputation and being well connected. But you don't have to be at that level to benefit. Even on a smaller scale, if you bring a great investment idea to someone, they might give you a finder's fee. Basically a thank you bonus. Grant Cardone, a smart guy who knows how to make deals, does this a lot. He sets up deals without using his own money and gets a slice of the success. So, here's the deal. If you want to be rich, you've got to think and act like the rich do. You need to see beyond the surface and understand what's happening behind the scenes. The better you are at this, the better deals you'll make. If you're ready to step up your game, let us know by typing "deal" in the comments. We're excited to see how many of you just learned something awesome today.